All right, guys. So we got a couple of reacts today. So that Wednesday came out. I work Wednesday, and I get off stream before all this stuff comes out. But we had a monthly report. I think there was like a patch watch. There was a bunch of things. So we'll check some stuff out. But definitely we'll check out the monthly report and roadmap roundup. We're going to start out with the monthly report here. And this is since we're in July, this is the June monthly report, since they go through everything a month later, obviously. And as always, they start out with AI. Maybe I'll make this a bit bigger. There you go. That's probably good. In June, a new narrative AI-focused designer joined the team and began improving the current shopkeeper behavior by expanding a variety of voices and dialogue. See, we pick on them, but this is where junior people come in, and that gives them some AI work. I think that that's totally fine, and I love the way they're communicating that now, because they used to just say, guys, you see this priority? This priority here is, the shopkeeper behavior when it's really not a priority to us. So that's like kind of a big thing. However, this AI is placeholder until the team finished converting the bartender to support different shop types, including food, clothing, weapons. Okay. Team also set up a leisure behavior AI to use the Moby glass from different usables. We've seen them doing like, selfies with their Moby, right? AI tech is usually where the meat is. This is where I believe the nav mesh was, like NPCs landing and reinforcing, which, yeah, there we go. First iteration of nav mesh. They'll probably talk a lot about what they did for 3.17.2 here. They continue to work on locomotion code, transition between different states, speed. We've seen a lot of this on ISC. There's special animations used for extremely short paths. More splines. For trolley use, the team focused on tasks to allow NPCs using a usable. This could be big at some point. Think about having an NPC as your sidekick, and you might use them to move a box to a certain place. You maybe, who knows, we might be able to give them tasks at some point. So them being able to use usables is probably important. Obviously, none of that, like caveat on AI, as all of us know, server stability or server tick rate or many other bugs and problems cause our AI to be absolutely terrible in this game. They are mostly inactive, mostly can't do anything. PC is my sidekick. I will not replace you, my friend, ever. But yeah, there's definitely other factors that, like everything that we see in these monthly reports, the AI stuff is always going to look a lot wonkier than they lead on to be in these reports, because it works on their end but doesn't work on ours. AI vehicle features enable the AI to control different ship modes. For example, this allows NPCs to switch to the correct mode when quantum jumping or using missiles. The big one is quantum jumping, I think, but we've seen AI quantum jump at events like Invictus, things like that, but not like players. And we want NPCs to act as much like players as they possibly could. So maybe instead of sticking around and just dying, maybe they'll run at some point in the future. Animation. Facial animation team worked on outlaw characters. They also supported Pyro with motion capture. So yeah, Road to Pyro is still a thing. Regarding mocap, the new studio is progressing well with the truss being completed. Teams are currently setting up the cameras, computers, and other equipment. Okay. Art characters, frontier outfits, high fashion clothes for Stanton. They're also creating new outfits for various upcoming events and promotions. All right. I wonder what those are. Ship art. We've seen a lot of this and probably a lot of the same ships that we've seen, although the Argo SRV, which for those of you guys don't know, is the tugboat ship, but banded merchantman exterior still a thing. We know about that. Final art pass on an unannounced vehicle here, which we don't know about yet. The SRV is the one that we do know about. That is kind of interesting. I imagine this ship will be the first ship that comes with tractor beams, and will kind of determine how those may work, VFX, UI, all those things, and then those will be transferred over to other ships with them. So this is a very, very important ship in so many ways. The ship itself, kind of unique, kind of specialized, but yeah. And then Elliot in chat, who works at CIG, says a bunch of the ship's artists sit near him and says their work looks really cool. So that's a little inside. That's pretty cool. Nothing too leaky, obviously, but it's awesome. And then another unannounced ship is there as well, with focus on the landing gear, exterior doors, cockpit dash, and pilot seat. You know, when they mention landing gear for something, it usually means it's quite unique, because the landing gear would be different from something else if it's a focus. So that one's kind of interesting. What does the other one say? Polish before lot and damage phases. So whichever one this is, it's very soon, because these are the last steps on this one. What is this? All I see is jalapenos, and limes, and a pot that looks like a pineapple. Oh, I know what this is. This was the alien drinks. And wow, yeah, it looks alien. That's cool. Community, we usually skip. It's just all the things that they did. But maybe something on the event that's starting now. Yeah. Foundation Festival, promote your org. We did that for my org in there, so check out 30K Inc. And then Battle of the Bricks, some stuff there, but nothing too crazy. Engine, I always skip this stuff because I don't know what's going on. Physics team made several improvements with Ray World intersections. Okay. This makes projectile intersection tests more robust with fast-moving ships. Still don't really know what that means. Tiling dense SDFs was introduced. Okay. Yeah. Just more Gen 12 stuff. This might be interesting. The core engine entity areas now utilize tags to track what entity areas and events to send to each other. This replaces hidden hierarchy logic that caused various issues and allows for more efficient code. I know tagging is like very, very important for literally everything. If they talked about our inventories, tagging, and that's what determines what ends up in loot, things like that. But yeah, I mean, most of this just is jibber jabber to me. I have no idea what's going on. Features, Arena Commander. So the Arena Commander feature team, which was said to also still be working on Theaters of War, which, yeah, okay. The Arena Commander feature team fixes issues and added quality of life improvements to both Arena Commander and Star Marine modules. The improvements were also made to the implementation of doors, controllers, and elevators, which will result in quicker, more robust setups in both vehicles and stations. Plans were also kicked off for new maps and gameplay experience for Arena Commander and Star Marine. Okay, listen, guys. The level design is a problem in Star Marine, right? I guess we have cool looking levels now in Arena Commander. I think like them as game modes is where the real issue is here. So the actual gameplay experience was not mentioned first, so it's probably not prioritized. I don't think we need new maps. I think we need we need actual reasons to play the game, and yeah, make it fun. I don't know. It's just this weird game mode where there's like no incentive to play. Somebody said to go look at the section, the last 3 paragraphs of the community section. Okay, the team has also been hard work planning everything road to 4.0. Yeah, I saw that. A letter for the chairman will present regular 4.0 related content between now and the release of 4.0. Oh, okay. They're currently expecting to roll out this info series in September. The community team also continues to provide gameplay training for incoming new hire staff, which has been massively praised by folks looking to learn more about the verse. Finally, the team has been deep diving more options for incentivization related to the PTU in the short term, with a much broader variety of incentives in the mid to long term. Yeah, that's big, because I really am worried. If anybody knows what it's like to test the PTU, is it eventually becomes boring, because you get 15 million credits, you have everything. There's no incentive to play. There's no grind. Like, there's very little grind in the PU that's worth it. So there's very little grind. There's no grind in the PTU that's worth it, right? So what will incentivize players to stay in 3.18 and give them the data that they need for a very, very pivotal patch that's coming up? They really have to put their heads together and figure something out for that. That is incredibly important. Incredibly, incredibly important, because if they don't have the concurrency in the PTU, it's going to be very difficult to get that patch out of the PTU in a very clean and working manner, as best as it could be. The less players that work, I mean, it really feels like work sometimes, that end up playing in the PTU is going to cause more issues when 3.18 goes live. Yeah, I think skins for PTU, or, I mean, what do you think would be good? I think skins would be good. Gun skins. Yeah. I think that would be awesome for like hours tested, or, issue council reports or whatever. I think issue council reports would be falsified too much, or just people would just do it to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I think that what would incentivize it is maybe like if you hit certain rep levels in the PTU, then you get certain rewards. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Because that one is really interesting to me. Skip the engine because we just looked at it. Arena Commander we talked about. Now some of the juicy stuff. Features, character and weapon features. Longer term improvements on personal inventory system based on feedback from recent releases. Okay, here we go. An often requested feature is the ability to move a larger number of items from one inventory to another. So we've added a move all button. This may sound trivial, but it needs the underlying logic to ensure the resulting service request is as small as possible and all the condition logic is executed for the bulk items to be moved. Thank you. Now, I always say this stuff. Why wasn't this said before? This paragraph would have calmed my nerves and said, okay, I get that it's coming. All they told me is that they didn't have enough time to do it. But if they said, I guess I should just believe them, right? I guess I should just believe them when they say these things. And the only person who you shouldn't believe is basically Chris Roberts, right? If it comes out of Chris's mouth, be a skeptic. If it comes out of like one of these devs who have delivered features, you just believe them, right? Like, is that the way we should go? Because, obviously the dev, you know the dev I'm talking about, right? It's the one that had like the mic that was really close to his mouth. He was the one that the first time I think we saw him was the trolley stuff. He was the guy who mentioned, like, guys, we know you want to move all button. So do we. We just didn't have the time to get it into this release. And I was like, okay, so is it Chris Perry? Is that his name, Elliot? Yeah, the guy seems like a really cool dude, right? So why should I give him a hard time? And again, I never was giving him a hard time about this. It was whoever set prioritization, because it felt to me, based on the way he said it, that it wasn't a priority, right? But in reality, it was always a priority, but there's a lot of logic behind it that takes a little bit more time and a lot of work. Everything seems trivial to you and me, but in reality, it's a tough one. So we can trust anyone on Theaters of War now too. Okay, maybe we shouldn't trust Sean Tracy either when he talks. But yeah, I mean, this dude, Chris, seems to be pretty on the ball with what he said. He just didn't say it in a way from where I could have understood this about it. So that's why I always ask why now. I try not to like freak out as much. I tend to when I first watch things, but I always want to ask why. Tell me why it wasn't a priority. Tell me why we don't have it now. And honestly, nobody gave me this answer until now. And I feel like the moment it wasn't in there, I should have known why. Right? hey, why is it taking so long? Why don't we have it now? Tell me, because there's a lot of logic that we have to put in here that you wouldn't think would be a thing, but it is a thing. And I'd be like, oh shit, okay. So, so you might not get it in this release. You might, you'll get it in a future release. It's going to take that long. Oh shit, man. Okay. Thank you for prioritizing it. I will wait patiently. Like, I want, if you give us the right amount of information, it's very easy to be patient about this game. But very often we don't get that information, or it is vague or hard to understand. And then you kind of equate that to the thing that's really important to me is not prioritized, when that may not be the case at all. Right? Damn. I feel bad now, because this really pissed me off, and now I should have never been upset about it. Other features include being able to interact with items on the floor near a player. Oh my God. Holy crap. Like, the Daisy press tab and everything on the floor near you is in a box that you can pull and drag over. Guys. Yes. Now, get rid of the third-person inventory and make it a true paper doll. Please. That would be the last thing, and then we're good. Holy. Elsewhere, previously reported fundamental changes in how actor movement and synchronization handled were completed. The new logic successful progressed through internal testing, allowed the team to enable feature. So this is the thing that isn't working right now. I believe. So, yeah. Star Citizen has long had a ground alignment system that ensures foot placement of a character correctly interacts with the environment. June saw the team looking into extending this system to hand placements. So, guys, believe it or not, the hand placement thing was in Arena Commander before we even had 2.0. So if you came close to a wall, the player would put their hand up, and it would compress if you got closer to it. It was jank as hell, but it was in. So they're probably bringing that back. I saw a hint at this, which is quite interesting. Yeah. Gameplay features. They're working on the next steps for the salvage profession, which involved evaluating the possibilities for the munching mechanic, ship tractor beams, and the salvage grinder. The Aegis Reclaimer and Drake Vulture's hull scraping features progress well and is currently awaiting the elements from the cargo refactor. Okay, engineering and life support are proceeding well too. That's what this is. This is a life support HUD. And not just that, but it seems to be like a general engineering HUD, because you have engineering, you have life support, you have gravity, and you can manage all this. Jake says building blocks, not UI. Building blocks is the UI system. Oh, that means that it's this is designed by a designer then. Yeah, and then it goes to UI, as far as I understand. Okay. Engineering life support is proceeding well too. The team are now able to show all relevant items, rooms, doors, and the corresponding controls and data in an early blocked out UI screen. But yeah, it's not final UI. It's not like the polished, like what it'll look like, obviously. Yeah, it's designer art. It'll be polished. It'll look better. In the end, it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's the information that's provided there. It looks like a lot, and it looks like it gives a lot of options for us to do as far as engineering gameplay, though, goes. So when you guys saw engineering gameplay on the roadmap many times, now you see what that means, which is quite cool. The team are now able to show all relevant items, corresponding controls, the initial interactive elements, and the first exchangeable interactable ship items were added too. Very cool. So let's take another look at that. We have rooms, items, doors. We have target temperature versus the current temperature. We have CO2 levels, O2 levels, target temperature, current temperature again, target pressure, current pressure again, life support, whatever this is. And then we have venting control, where you can do it quickly, slowly, scrubbing. And then there's engineering, gravity as well, tabs, which we haven't seen yet. Very, very cool. Very cool. Vehicle features. Persistent streaming stuff. ongoing refactor of the transit system so they can simulate train networks when the carriages aren't spawned in on any machines. This is going to be a big thing. I remember there's a guy who hangs out in chat all the time. He used to work at CIG, works at I forgot where now, but I know a game, but again, I don't know how out there it is. And he did the original transit system with the timers and a lot better for that. And then he moved on to another company. But this is like that work being redone again for the PES and server meshing and all that stuff. We love Christian here. He was on ISC a couple times, or I think it was still called Around the Verse at the time. The team will also continue the refactor redesign of restricted areas. Very cool. We've conducted some playtesting and found issues with the UI and user experience side of things. We're working on that now. We've also set up a whole city using the new system to test out developer tooling, which has been quite successful. Okay. Vehicle features worked alongside AI to allow the use of different ship modes, such as missile operator. We saw that. On the balance side, further tweaks were made to the new ground vehicle handling, while a review and rebalance of fuel use began, which now aims to improve the refueling experience. Okay. Graphics, again, I usually skip this stuff, but gas clouds, rivers, frozen oceans, refraction, okay, for Gen 12, render to texture. I don't know if you guys caught something, but they removed render to texture from, if you look at the new missions of the, what are they called? Were you combat assistant missions? There's just like a screen that shows up with like a little audio wave instead of the actual character's face, because it's been so buggy for so many years. I don't know if that's temporary, but yeah, that's an interesting thing to note for sure. Lighting. They've done some stuff to the racetrack, which is very cool. The team completed pass on the new gas clouds at rest stations. All right. Team also continued to light new derelict outposts. Okay. Montreal locations. All right. This is a big one for me. They did the reclaimer settlement stuff, and then, which we all have seen a lot of, but this is the one I want to hear about. The Lorville cityscape progressed through white box phase. The outskirts of Lorville will added and placed with proper scale. With these new outskirts, we now have a better idea of the scale of the new Lorville. Hint, it's bigger, says the location team. They also validated Lorville's transit system to ensure it can be modified to fit the city's new layout. A new crash site containing the 600I and Mercury derelicts is approaching white box complete. The team refined the composition and placed the two ships to create a compelling settlement that will give a different flavor than the reclaimer derelict. The way they said this, are both ships at the location, or are they two separate ones? That I question. Somebody from the Montreal team messaged me. I'll ask them and see if we can get that clarified. They messaged me a while ago, so I can see if we can get that one clarified. The new Montreal-based in-game branding team began their first task of revisiting all landing zone signage to make it easier for players to orient themselves. This is cool. So they broke off a little team for like sandbox PU elements and are going, hey, how can we design these levels better in terms of communication? That's so needed. And when it comes to the first 30 minutes for a player, if anything is more important than this, yeah, that's really cool. Awesome, Turbulent. Thank you for that. They also started tasks for an upcoming in-game event. All right. Very, very cool. That would be a huge player experience thing. Narrative. Let's see. A new mission archetype plan for future release, more narrative intense than other missions. It has been an exciting challenge for us to figure out solutions for offering the players compelling story while ensuring replayability and scalability. I mean, that's the big problem with Star Citizen, right? Everything seems not replayable. It's kind of boring. That one's interesting. Elliot's, staying quiet on that, so he must be involved. Very, very interesting. That's exciting. Additionally, the writers created several scripts and had a recording session for Frontier vendors. Listen, I can't get past this. We need more narrative missions. We need more unique missions that drive some weird, obscure stories in the PU. I don't want to read lore on the website. I want to experience lore in the game. And I think the narrative team is probably so excited about this. So excited about this. Like, guys, the reason why security post Correa is busted would be an awesome thing to know. Because, like, take Kovalex, right? The Kovalex mission, you know why it's blown up. You know why it's not in use anymore. How cool would that be to learn that for other places in Stanton? Or maybe this is a Pyro one. Who knows? June also seemed to conduct narrative reviews on upcoming vehicles. Okay, that's just sales stuff. And then First Contact Day is old. QA team focused on Alpha 3.17.2. Embedded location testers on the editor, engine team, blah, 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 blah. Tools team. This is like Montreal's big thing, the Mighty Bridge. Technical art side. Probably not interesting for many players, but if you're into game development, check this one out. That one's probably really cool. Tech animation. Tools stripping out old code. They also continue to work on a new system that puts fidelity above all else. Although rarely used in gaming due to its expense and limitations, this type of system is ideal for performance pieces. All right, that sounds like a Squadron 42 thing. Planning was done for upcoming quarters. Online services. New login flow. Refactors necessary for step towards goal retrieving persistent entity streaming. Teams also managed to fix the stream sniper bug, a long-standing exploit allowing players to obtain another player's marker despite not being in the party. Thank you, Montreal. Once again. Live tools. New network operations. Again, tools are not going to be very player-facing. Team also progressed a new feature that lets users view player inventories, which will be used to troubleshoot ship and equipment issues more easily. Okay. Turbulent web platform. Upcoming promotions and move forward with the expanding Alexandria product. What? Improvements and product evolution will increase return on investment with a global skin and theme library, allowing for a focus on quality performance updating services. Okay. Backend web team completed a new media management service. DevOps worked on to experience team. Time is also dedicated to features new community hub, which we heard from the community team on their SCL. Cannot wait to release this into the wild. All right. Throughout June, new star map, hooking up quantum travel on contextual menus to make the process more intuitive. I can't wait to see this. I hope it looks good. Time also invested into upgrading underlying systems. UI tech team worked on new approaches, aspect ratios for widescreens probably. So that's exciting. And this will help create better looking interactive holographic UIs and animated billboards in key areas. All right. I mean, we've seen holographic UIs before, but only in concept. VFX team worked on several locations last month. Grimhex Hospital, Reclaimer variants, optimization related to planetary ground storm effects, which have caused performance issues. Dude, they're so annoying. Can they happen like less often? Holy crap. I'm sorry. That's my gripe there. That's my rant for the day. That was a long monthly report. But that was a juicy monthly report. There were some bug fixes, like major exploit was fixed there. A lot of cool stuff from Montreal, as always. A hint at a new narrative mission. A number of new ships, one that is very close. What else? There was something from the community team. The in-game branding, new player experience, and just general quality of life, right? To make a note of some of those things. A lot of teams still working on PES. Oh, this? Yeah. The move all button. Moreville instead of Loreville. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Road to 4.0 content coming in September. Very, very cool. That will obviously get delayed. But yeah, I mean, that's really sick. What is Alexandria? Right? Very interesting. So